Happy Saturday, friends. I'm in a spaghetti strap top, but I'm just at the house, just doing housework. But I wanted to pop on here, and this is very impromptu, but in the moment that I discovered the information, I had to share. So recently, Yogi T, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my dog because he's looking at me for whatever reason. I don't know what he wants. But recently, Yogi T was recalled, right? Especially the immune support one. All I'm gonna say is this: I find it interesting how the herb that has been marketed to support the immune system, one of the hardest working systems in our body, and protects us and fights illnesses and diseases every minute of the day. They're recalling that because there's basically dangerous elements inside that tea. Got it. So I said over 900,000 of them. And this is something that is marketed to be organic. So I'm going to say my piece with it first on a biblical spiritual standpoint. First, on a biblical spiritual standpoint, Prophetess Tiffany Montgomery warned us, and I say us because I'm in that number too, about, like I said, this is roughly translated. If you want what she mentioned directly, go follow her. I want to say that this was probably about a year ago, maybe about a year ago, around the time, give or take, where she talked about in one of her corporate fasts, what God has revealed to her about the food. And this is super duper important. So please go to her page. Like I said, maybe give or take about a year back, and first pray, talk to God, to make sure that, that you are really hearing what she's saying and really hearing what I'm saying. Okay. I don't want anybody to get, all bent out of shape. Just be mindful of what she's saying. So I'm going to say that. Just go find her information about the type of fast, corporate fast, and she talks about the food reference. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I personally think that anything that is marketed organic is propaganda, okay? It is, and I know I said this in another video about the whole mind-body concept of classes being propaganda, because it is, okay? Because in weight training, it is still a mind-body connection, okay? Because you have to be mindful on how to do a movement to be able to effectively move the body and recruit the proper muscles that you need to get what you're looking for. Mind-body experience. It's not a class format, okay? Listen, that's a hill that I'll stand on, okay? Nobody's going to convince me of different. But also, organic stamps to me are a form of propaganda. What I mean by that? A couple of things by that. Anything that is stamped organic is almost automatically more expensive, okay? Usually any place that offers, now it has branched out from when I remember organic ended up in the stores when I was a teenager in the early 2000s. But now it's branched out to Walmart and Target and, that type of thing. But back when I was growing up in Raleigh, that stuff was not in Kmart. Okay, that stuff was not in Harris Teeter or in Food Lion when I was growing up in North Carolina. The only way you had access to that is if you went to the, back in the day, growing up in Raleigh, you went to the white folk stores. You know what I'm saying? You went to the Whole Foods, and I don't know what year Whole Foods even started. I don't remember, but I do remember going to Whole Foods before I left for college. So same thing. I remember my experiences going in there in the early 2000s because my mom really liked the different versions of skincare, which was pretty cool. Now some of the skincare stuff is the real deal, is pretty solid. Not all, but a good chunk. So, but foods that are marketed organic or that has that seal on it, I think that's a setup. I think that is, like I said, I don't want to say it's racism, but I feel like it's a form of classism a little bit, where, daggone well, when this seal is on there, it automatically marks up the price. And you already know that most individuals that live in lower income communities can't really get access to it or can't afford it. They can't even get to the store, nonetheless, afford anything in the store. And so that contributes to a bigger level of food insecurity. Okay. Because, and food deserts, because individuals cannot afford this marketed brand of food. Right. So, if I had my way, I would think that if anything is going to be properly labeled organic, it should be available for everybody. It should be available for everybody. So, but since it's not, the best recommendation that I could ever make to anybody will be to find a local farmer or find a local fresh market event that's outdoors. Generally, it's beautiful in Kentucky. They're all over the place in Kentucky. Or your local farmer. Just support your local farmer. Someone that, and it could be anybody that might be raising, like, let's say somebody might have a chicken coop, you know what I'm saying? And they're producing eggs. That's one way to support them. Let's say you have somebody that is in the community that is growing vegetables. By all means, support them. But if you're able to find a bigger farm that might be growing their own food or might be, raising cattle or that type of thing, and they are selling the food, then it's an opportunity. Now, that's not what everything, I know this whole non-pasteurized milk thing, that's crazy. I wouldn't do that. But ultimately pray about your food choices, because that is ultimately how the enemy, Taco. I see what my dog's doing because he's quiet. Straight like that. But ultimately, one of our biggest enemies that we are not approaching properly or we're not recognizing is food. Okay. And we're like, well, food is not the enemy, da 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 da. It is, because it can be marketed to keep people apart. It can be marketed to keep the poor, because people are trying, first off, price on everything's going up. You know what I'm saying? And so, but also, so me personally, I'm not a huge foodie. I'm a basic chef, like, meaning that I know how to cook it. I know how to do a variety of things, but I can't do everything, and I have no interest. Okay. Like, I'm going to serve something as is, like, as long as it's good and it's seasoned properly, that's all that matters. Okay. So I'm definitely not that. I'll try something different, but only trying something different when I have time. So that's it with that. So, but sometimes, now, food can bring us together for sure. It's so important. It's so essential to be able to break bread with your friends and your family and just, enjoy fellowship. Yes, food can bring us together, but food can also keep us from where God needs us to be. For example, sometimes when we take in too much food or the wrong food items, it can contribute to chronic illness and diseases. And then the crazy thing about it is that some of us be praying to God, well, heal my body, heal my body. Well, baby, put down that turkey leg. Now, I say turkey leg because them turkey legs is salty. Okay. And yeah, salty. Okay, we asking God, heal my body, heal my teeth, heal my teeth. But all you do is eat candy 3 times a day or throughout the day. You have 3 sodas a day. You don't get the small cup. You get the 40 ounce of soda every day. So all I'm saying is it's so important that we learn what it is that we need to be able to maintain healthy bodily functions. Okay. We have to get familiar with our macronutrients. We need to start reading all of our ingredient labels. We need to be mindful of And this is not only just with just tea in general, whatever's marketed as organic. This is with anything, okay? Um, like I'm even mindful of like pressed powders and setting powders because I don't really want to wear anything that has talcum in it. Um, so for me, my preference will always be tinted moisturizer. You know what I'm saying? And just go from there, or just a light concealer, and that's it. Right. So you should not only just be mindful of this with food, but just with anything in general. Last couple of days, I'm gonna say this, and like I said, another feather ruffler. I was looking up a popular makeup brand, and she's black owned or whatever, so I'm with it, right? And something was whispering in my ear to look up the foundation of who this individual is, right? And so looked up the foundation of who that individual is and saw that that individual derived their makeup off of kings and warriors and that type of thing. And where I'm going with this, you got to be careful with even with that, because some of them were dipping and dabbling in magic and were witches and warlocks. So you got to be careful with that. You know what I'm saying? This is the season that God has called me to be in, where I have to be very mindful of the doors and the portals that I allow to be open. Anything and everything. Okay? So that's the season um that I'm personally in. I can't speak for you. I can only speak for me. Okay? But I pray that you have the ears to hear. Okay, that's what I'm saying. So next time, I don't know why I did that, because now I probably sound real muffled. But just next time, I'm just gonna say this: research everything. Everything has a reference point. Okay, do not blindly go into something that you're gonna tie yourself to, and you're gonna open up doors to the demonic, and you don't know it, and you're trying to figure out, well, how did I do that? Baby, you just bought this, that, and this. And that's a gateway into the demonic. But that's with anything. We just have to be careful. We need to ask God about it and talk to God about it and line it up with what God's word says. That's all I have. Rant over. Let me go fold these clothes. Have a good day.